No, my mother was from Rochester, New York. My father grew up on the plains of Saskatchewan on a
Wow.
wheat farm. Yeah. So my father was the first in his family to go to college. My mother came from a long line of teachers, all who had college educations. Yep. I went to Georgetown because they had, at the time, they're still very, very well known for language and linguistics in general. But at the time, they had a school of languages and linguistics, which was one of the, I think, 4 undergraduate schools that they had. That to me showed some extra dedication to the things that I was really interested in most. I was really interested in 2 things. I was interested in foreign languages and music. And both things were, I was discovered a passion for in high school, both because I had spectacular teachers, really, really great, inspirational people. And so both German and playing jazz, actually, saxophone, tenor saxophone is what I played and continue to play. I love it. But I pursued both through college. And when I was a senior at Georgetown, I was coming off a year studying abroad in Germany, in a southwestern city called Tübingen, which is a very ancient medieval university, absolutely idyllically beautiful. And there I met some other players, and we formed a band and started actually playing a little bit professionally here and there. And that's when I thought, wow, maybe I can do this. Maybe this would be a really neat career path for me. When I was in the fall of my senior year at Georgetown, I told my parents, when I graduate, I'm going to pack up my saxophone, few clothes, I'm going to go to New York, and I'm just going to live on the streets and play saxophone, and I'm going to become a pro. And they said, we have a better idea. They were so kind to me. They said, why don't you think about it this way? Why don't you apply to a music conservatory? And you don't have to earn a degree, but at least you'll be affiliated and you'll know people. And they said, that's probably a good idea. So I applied to the Berklee College of Music in Boston,
Oh.
was amazingly accepted, given a small scholarship, and went there and played for a year and learned a ton about myself. One of the things I learned is that I'm not cut out to be a professional musician for all kinds of reasons, but I learned a ton and it was great. And so that's when I decided to go back to graduate school and pursue German, and ended up with an academic career that I've really loved. Because teaching in graduate school at a big research university, I knew was very different than the jobs that I was likely to be offered, because most jobs actually as teaching in higher education are not in big urban research universities. Some are, but most are actually in smaller degree granting undergraduate focused institutions. So I thought it would be important to try to get some experience teaching in a place that was more like that, rather than trying to go into the profession with only having taught at the big R1. A good friend of mine in graduate school told me about an opportunity to teach at a really terrific, small, comprehensive, but independent university that was about an hour drive away. So it wasn't super close, but it was a really great institution. It's called Valparaiso University in Valparaiso, Indiana. I did it as a proof of concept. Am I going to like this? Am I going to like this lifestyle? Am I going to like these colleagues? Will I enjoy being in an institution like that? Turns out I loved it. They took me under their wing. They were generous and kind. They mentored me in ways that were overt and in ways that I didn't even realize until later. And it was the best. It was just the best. The Lutheran connection is there. The Lutheran higher ed network is there. And so I applied to an ELCA school, which is called Pacific Lutheran University. They had a German job, and again, very happy there. It was a great place to live. Tacoma, Washington, it's wonderful. Again, tremendous colleagues. Some of them are my best friends today still. Then I went to Kalamazoo, right? And again, returning to the Midwest was terrific because my kids were very small at that time, and they got to spend a lot more time with their grandmother. So we were really happy to be there in Kalamazoo. Another great institution. I went there because of their real strong historical commitment to international education. I kind of got the administrative work bug when, like a lot of people do, you become a department chair, you realize, hey, this is kind of neat. I'm now in a network that's coming, helping me understand the institution a little bit better. I'm doing some cooperative work outside of just my unit by virtue of being a chair. And then, a series of other kinds of duties that I agreed to take on eventually led to me realizing this is kind of fun and I can affect the larger institution and learn more by doing that. And so that's when I decided I would join the provost office as an associate provost. And then one thing just led to another. When you start doing that work, people say, hey, you might enjoy being provost. Have you thought about that? And so I did, and I loved that as well. And that's what took me to Wofford College in Spartanburg, South Carolina. No, I never in a million years would have dreamed that my career would take me to a place like this, a presidency, right? That was not where I thought the trajectory was headed. But I'm really delighted that it has. And, one of the things that one of the values we prize so much in higher education is a value that's often inscribed in our mission statements, and it's about lifelong learning. And I don't think I intentionally did this, but I know I went into academia because I never want to stop learning. I never want to stop learning, and I never want to stop helping other people to become lifelong learners. And so I think really that's the thread that has carried me through all of my career in academia, whether it's been as a scholar or as a servant to the institution, administrative work, teaching, all of it, is the love of learning and the desire to help others continue to do so. That's what motivated my move into more administrative work. I found it so fascinating because it gave me the opportunity to learn how the institution does that magical thing that it does, which is transform students' lives and create really vital senses of community, right? I mean, that's what makes the liberal arts, I think, quite distinctive in the higher ed landscape. And it was a particularly poignant thing to be applying for a position as a president during a pandemic, because what you sensed, even over Zoom, but especially when I was finally able to visit in person, was the sense of loss of community that people felt because they couldn't be together and they couldn't be in the same room with their students. And the students who were on the search committee, you could tell that they missed it so badly. And so the opportunity to help preserve such a storied tradition at such a wonderful institution that's persevered for centuries, it's a really special opportunity to me. Frankly, I think this is the right time to double down on the liberal arts. It really is. Particularly when you think about the world that we live in today, all of the headwinds you're talking about that everyone is facing, every institution like Washington College is facing, talking about demographic changes, but also talking about the economic realities of higher education, where we see the real dollar, real-time challenges that families are facing trying to afford higher education, students and their families. These are the hard economic realities that are shaping the future of higher education. And one of the things that makes me really excited about the future of Washington College is that my firm conviction that the liberal arts are really not just a unique, wonderful American approach to higher education, but that I believe they really are the right way to prepare students for the world that they're going to face as they move out into the world after graduation in the 21st century. When you think about what you both received from your liberal arts education, I hope one of the first things that you would mention is the incredibly powerful tool of critical thinking and being able to approach a problem not just from one disciplinary perspective, but from many, right, from multiple perspectives, and understand that using different disciplinary frameworks is what helps you to understand how to take apart a complex problem and try out different approaches to sorting things out and to solving those problems. That's what Washington College imbues its students with. That's the superpower that they're going to take out into the world. But the other thing that makes me very bullish on Washington College in particular is the fact that this is an institution that does not have to wonder what makes it distinctive. It has such a wonderful history as its foundation. It has institutions embedded within it, like the Star Center, like the Sophie Kerr Prize, like the Center for Environment and Society. I mean, these are points of distinction that not every liberal arts college, not every university has. And so I think there's so many powerful things, along with very strong majors, very, very strong and robust faculty who are real teacher scholars and who love that combination and the interplay that comes about through that interplay. A really dedicated and experienced staff who understand the value of that residential liberal arts experience. That's an awful lot to take to the marketplace of higher education. It's a tremendous value proposition that Washington College has for future students, present students, and the community at large. So I'm very, very excited about everything that we have to offer here. And I know that's going to carry us through even the most difficult of economic times.